Welcome back, guys. Today we will learn about on-chat resume decorator. So with the help of that, you will be able to resume your previous chat history from where you just left off. It says the on-chat resume decorator is used to define a hook that is called when the user resume a chat session that was previously disconnected. So think of it like a Netflix. You watch half a movie, then you pause and you maybe come back tomorrow. The Netflix remember exactly where you stopped. So in Chainlit, on-chat resume does the same thing for your conversation. Actually, it reminds me of a line of Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders series. He says, "I'm thinking ahead, thinking of every possibility, remembering everything that is happening." And then he adds, "You know, gentlemen, there is a hell, and there is another place below hell. I'll remember everything and forget nothing." That's exactly the vibe of on-chat resume. It remembers everything. So to use on-chat resume decorator, first of all, we need two things. One is we need to enable authentication and data persistence. First, let's say what is authentication. It says the Chainlit application are public by default. To enable authentication and make your app private, you need define a Chainlit authentication secret environment variable. So how we will be able to create it? So we just need to copy this one, and here is our code. If you have not taken the previous classes, the link will be in description of previous classes. You can watch or maybe take the screenshot of this code, and I will just paste here the Chainlit create secret and hit enter. You see it created the Chainlit authentication secret. I will just copy it, and here I will create another .env file and paste the authentication here and save, Control S. So our one task is done. The second task is add one or more authentication callback to your app. We have different options. One is password authentication or authentication header. So we will go ahead with password authentication, and we will just add this in our code. It says CL password authentication callback receive the username and password from login form. Here I just paste the authentication code. So it says if username is admin and password is admin, then it will return cl.user authentication. For now I will just save, and I will just run Chainlit, run app.py. You see here there is a login form. In email address you will enter admin and password will be admin, and I will sign in. So it successfully authenticated. It says if username is admin and password is admin, return cl.user. So our first task is done. We successfully enable the authentication. Now we will see how to enable data persistence. If I click here and see, it says by default your Chainlit app does not persist the chats and elements it generates. However, the ability to store and utilize this data can be a crucial part of your project or organization. So to enable data persistence, it says we have several options. If I click on this, it says choose one of the following options for your open source data layer. Use official Chainlit data layer, PostgreSQL, leverage community-based data layer, or build your own. So these are different options. We'll move ahead with community SQLAlchemy data layer. It says this custom layer has been tested for PostgreSQL. However, it should support more SQL databases thanks to the use of SQLAlchemy database. For now, we will use local PostgreSQL and store that data in our local system, in our laptop. Okay. To install PostgreSQL in Ubuntu, these are the commands. If you are on Windows, you may ask from ChatGPT, or you may do Google search and search that how to install PostgreSQL in laptop. It is very simple. I believe in you, you can do that. For Ubuntu, these are the steps. I will just copy this command and paste in my terminal and enter my password. It will update my system, and after that I will copy this command and paste here. PostgreSQL is successfully installed in my laptop. If you want, PostgreSQL will start automatically every time your system boots. So for that I will just copy this command and paste in my terminal. It's successfully executed. Now I want to test either my PostgreSQL is successfully installed or not. I will just first of all clear this and paste this command. It says PostgreSQL version is 16.9. For more test, I will just simply copy this and paste here. It says it is active, exited and enabled, and it is good to go. It is successfully installed and it is running. In your case, if it is not running, you will just simply run this command. So I don't need this command for now in my case. I'll type Ctrl+C to exit and run these command. It says switch to Postgre user. I will just copy this and paste here and hit enter. And I will copy this command. Now here I will create a user admin with password admin. I will simply just copy this one and paste here. It says create role, means role is created successfully. Now we will create a new database. Its name will be my Chainlit DB, and that will be owned by admin. I will copy this one and paste here. It says database created, and here we grant all privilege on database my Chainlit DB to our admin user. I will just copy and paste here. It says granted. And to test, I will just copy this command and paste here. It is asking for password. We know that its password is admin. So because we just created here, create user admin with password admin. I will just hit enter after typing the admin. It let me log in. For more information, I will just copy this command and paste here. It says you are connected to database my Chainlit DB as user admin on host localhost. Address is this at port 5432. It means everything is good. I will just exit. And to visualize my database, I will just open dbeaver. You can download it from Google. I will click on connection, PostgreSQL and next. Everything will remain same. It says host is localhost. Database name is, we know that database name is my Chainlit DB. If you have created with different name, you will write that name of your database, and its username is, we know that admin, and password is also admin. And I will just finish. You see in table there are no table. We have not created the schema yet. Here if we come to Chainlit documentation, It says you have to create a user table, then threads table, steps table, and elements, feedback. It is the schema of our database, but there is one little problem with this schema. What you have to do, you just have to add this line also, default open boolean. After this line is error boolean, you need to add this line also, default open boolean. That's it. I will also share this in description, you will check it out. I will simply copy it, Ctrl C. In dbeaver, I will click on SQL to run the query, and I will just paste the code here. These are the SQL commands that will create user table, threads table, steps table, and so on. I will select Ctrl A and Ctrl Enter. It run the SQL query. It says the tables are created successfully. If you are not using the dbeaver, you will be able to run the same commands through your terminal. First of all, you need to log into your database and type SQL and just run these commands. Now if I will refresh my database and see the tables, it says there is element table, feedback, steps, threads, users. Tables are created successfully. If I want to check what is in steps table or in threads table, we know that the command is select all from steps, maybe Ctrl A, Ctrl Enter. You see it says it is empty, there is nothing here, but it successfully created the schema. This work is done. Now we have to install few things. First of all, we need to install async pg SQLAlchemy. So we are not using Azure, so we don't need these commands. And also we need to install IOHTTP and Greenlet. I already installed SQLAlchemy, IOHTTP, Greenlet, and async pg. You just have to write pip install these things and hit enter. It says requirement already satisfied in my case, and it says you need to add another decorator, SQL.dataLayer. So I will just go to my code and add here the decorator. It is getting connection info from .env file, so I will need to just paste this line of code. It says database URL is PostgreSQL and its user is admin, password is admin. It is running on localhost and database name is my Chainlit DB. I will just save it. To use SQLAlchemy data layer, first of all I need to import it here. So I just paste these two lines of code. I also import thread dictionary. We will use it later on. It is getting connection info from .env file as database URL. We know that we store it as database URL. Here we are calling SQLAlchemy data layer and passing the connection info. And if it is success, it will return data layer. And if there will be some exception, it will print and return none. I will just save it. If we come here on chat resume, so we successfully enable the authentication and enable the data persistence. Now we need to add on chat resume decorator. Here I just paste our on chat resume decorator code. I just save it, Ctrl S, and let's run the application first. You see it says, hello, I am your AI assistant, how can I help you? If I type something like, hello, my name is Ali. It says, hello Ali, nice to meet you. If I create new session, and I type hello, my name is Asim maybe. It says hello Asim, nice to meet you. If I come back to my previous session here and I ask it what is my name, you see it says your name is Ali. How about we use that to start a conversation? If I open that previous session, and in this session I told it that my name is Asim, and I ask what is my name, it says your name is Asim. So you see in different sessions it is storing the previous conversation very well, so it is success. If I just close this and reopen it, HTTP, and open previous session and ask again what is my name, it says your name is Asim. Previously it was showing in steps, there was nothing. If I run this query again, Control A, Control Enter, you see here are the steps. It has ID, name, type, thread ID, partner ID, streaming, and in output we have actual conversation, hello my name is Ali, and this. You see it is successfully storing our data. If I right click here and open a new SQL script and type select all from users maybe, it says user is admin, its ID is this one, and similarly if I want to check the thread table, I will simply type threads, Control A, Control Enter. It says there are two threads. First is hello my name is Asim, second is hello my name is Ali. Thread ID is this, user identifier is admin, and it is successfully storing the previous chat history in tables. So it is the whole code. You may take the screenshot. And actually what we just did in onChat resume decorator, here we are getting the steps from thread.get. If there are steps available, it will be stored in steps, otherwise the empty list will be stored. And here we initialize messages with the empty list, so we will store our previous whole messages here and pass to LLM. Here in loop we are getting each step, and here we are getting step type. So you see here the step type is user message, maybe assistant message. We are interested in these two types. We are not interested in run. Run is actually when the decorator run. And in content we are storing step.get output. In output there is actual conversation is stored here, you see. And here we are saying if not content, means if content is null or empty, we just skip it. And here we are checking if step type is user messages, then we are appending it as human message in messages here. And if step type is assistant message, we are appending it as AI message. After that we are updating our state, and we are handling the exception. Maybe if there will be some exception, then we will set state with empty list of messages. So I believe that at this point you know that how to resume your previous chat history, and how to add this functionality and how to use these functionalities in your application, and how to build your application more interesting. If it is helpful, then don't forget to like, and that's it. See you in the next class, guys.